Hi, welcome to In and Around Computer. In this video, we are going to see what is a headless architecture. Headless architecture is for web development, and this is a modern approach to web development that separates the front end and the back end of a website or an application. And instead of relying on the monolithic architecture, the headless architecture uses APIs, that is application programming interfaces, to communicate between the two layers, that is the front end and the back end. Now we can wonder what will be in the monolithic architecture. That the front end and the back end of the website or an application are tightly integrated, and all the code is written in the single code base, and the application is deployed as a single unit. So this is the difference between monolithic and the modern headless architecture. Now the future is moving towards the headless architecture. And now we can see how the headless architecture works. In the headless architecture, the front end and the back end of the website or application are separated. And so the back end is now we can see what the back end is responsible for. This is responsible for managing and storing the content, while the front end it is responsible for displaying the content to the users, that we already know. And in recent years, the headless architecture has gained the popularity over this traditional monolithic architecture due to many benefits, we can say. By separating this front end and back end, the headless architecture allows for faster loading times and a better user experience. So, how this is happening means, for example, if there is a spike in traffic on your website, only the front end needs to scale and handle the increased load, as the back end remains unchanged since they are separated. So, like this, that is by separating we can gain the advantage like this. So the headless architecture follows this approach. And in the headless architecture, the front end and back end, so there should always be a way to come for the front end and back end to communicate. Then only the data will appear when the user accesses the front end. The data has to move from the back end to the front end. So this communication is made through the APIs, that is application programming interfaces. And now we can see what is an API. This is a set of protocols, tools for building the software applications. They allow different systems to communicate with each other, enabling the front end and back end of the website or application to work together seamlessly. So this allows to use different programming languages and technologies for the front end and back end. So that for front end and back end, since they are separated and they communicate through the APIs, different languages can be selected for back end and front end. So no need to use the same language for back end and front end. So this is also an advantage. So now many developers, they use this kind of approach, that is the headless architecture. And now we can see in detail the headless architecture versus the monolithic architecture. And first we can see what is monolithic architecture. And in that, the front end and back end of the website are tightly integrated, and the code is written in all the code is written in a single code base, and the application is deployed as a single unit. And this is architecture is often used for smaller applications or prototypes, as it is easier to develop and deploy. And the advantages of this monolithic approach is it will be a simple architecture, and single code base makes it easier to maintain. And disadvantages means here there will be limited scalability, and this monolithic applications often become bloated and difficult to manage over time. So this is about the monolithic architecture, and now we can see what is a headless architecture. And this headless architecture, on the other hand, this separates the front end and back end of the website or application. And this is responsible for managing and storing the content, while this back end that we already know, front end is responsible for displaying the content to the user. And the two layers communicate through the APIs, allowing flexibility in content management and the freedom to choose the technology stack that suits your needs. And the advantages are improved performance and user experience, better security and scale stability, and we already said the freedom to choose the technology stack. And the disadvantages will be technical complexity and integration with the legacy systems that can be challenging. So these are the things that are about the headless architecture. Now the future is headless. That is, in spite of the disadvantages, something in this headless approach, this is a becomes a powerful approach to web development that offers many benefits over the traditional monolithic architecture. And this, despite the challenges, the future of this headless architecture looks bright, and more organizations recognize the benefits of this headless approach to the web development. We expect to see continued innovation and development in this area, and with the ability to create more engaging and effective content, personalized experiences, and innovative user interfaces. So this headless architecture is all set to play a major role in the future of this web development. Subscribe to my channel if you feel contented. Like and share my videos with your friends. This channel in and around computer has various playlists on the various fields of computer science, which will be simple and easy to understand for the beginners. So watch and get benefit.